they were just talking stupid shit. I can't stand when they get all frustrated when it's pointless stuff. But
Yeah, a bunch of
that's how it is.
arguing.
All right, here we go. I can't stand the fucking lag I have on this computer.
Come to the light, Sean.
What
Build a
up, peoples?
PC.
We're gonna go ahead and wait for some more people to show up, so we're not just involving two people into our conspiracies. um, to let everyone know, my boy Legendary, showed me and pointed me in the right direction, and he's got a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of stuff, and we'll go over it. Um, believe it or not, this actually is pretty tough, so we're gonna kind of talk about it, and then pause for a moment for station identifications, and then we'll jump back into it. That way I don't get booted off YouTube for saying the stuff we're going to say. So for the meantime, we'll just bullshit, give it a little bit of time, and then we'll jump into it. Legendary, you just let me know when you really want to start so you can go to bed.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, I'm probably gonna go ahead and crash, man. I'm tired, man. I've been up since like 4, man. I ain't getting that much sleep the night before. But
No
yeah,
worries.
man, I'm just glad I could bring some of the information to you, man. So
Yeah, I got
definitely,
you, Doc. I got you.
if you like what you see, man, it definitely seemed like we on the same page.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, man.
definitely.
So
Yeah, I got you, man.
yeah, I
I'll get
can't wait to wake up, man. I'm definitely gonna check this out as soon as I wake up for real, man. On my way to work, definitely.
Yeah, make sure I'm still here.
All right, make sure your channel's still alive, man. You never know with these motherfuckers. All right, man. Hey, yo, y'all take it easy, man.
All right, man. Thanks
All right, you
again.
too.
All right, bro.
All right, what's up,
He about to be
Syra?
out.
We're kind of just gonna bullshit, and we'll get into
said who?
everything. Syra's in the chat.
Oh gosh.
No, it's all good as long as he don't start nothing. But then again, I don't think he has a real point to. We're not really doing flat Earth today.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we can. I don't mind.
Thursday.
But the main point won't be. But yeah, man, fucking shit's been getting crazy. When everything started, I told you about my boy that was out there that got shot.
Right.
So my main thing was for the past few days I've been in that a little bit of a funky ass mood, hearing everyone talk about it's a hoax, it's a fake, it's a false, like just every way you could go.
Right.
I mean, and then even what I got, even what Legendary pointed me to and what I found, it still backs my point of it. There's no way anybody's gonna know that night or the next day. It takes time. So I'm happy, it's been a few days and a lot of the information that had a chance to come out is out now. I've seen little bits and pieces, in the news that I'm going to come up with, but there's a lot of just a lot of funny business that shows that this is definitely not just a random situation, and I would call it more of a false flag situation.
Right.
Matter of fact, I can almost I wasn't sitting in a room with nobody, but to me, it's definitely a false flag.
Well, as you present to them, you'll also be presenting to me because I haven't really been looking into it. Like I said, I've been looking elsewhere as far as the weather.
Yeah. We can go on in that, start talking about that now until some people get in, and we'll maybe just jump back and forth between it. Like I said, I talked to a friend of mine who kind of does this for almost for a living, looking into things, and
Right.
he said what I have isn't enough, to really be anything that anyone really cares about. And I'm not going to get a knock at my door, but he said, YouTube is right now. He said, jump into it, jump out of it, and just mix the topics up so it's not a two and flag. So
Right.
people that are in the chat now just understand we're gonna go. We're going to do the little weather topic right now, and then I'll jump into it, and then seeing how fast I get through parts of it, we're gonna jump in and out of topic just to keep my channel alive. But what were you saying about the weather, Jay?
Well, pretty much, it's just like to me, like, okay, we had Maria, we had Jose, and there was one more. Three hurricanes that were one was supposed to hit New York, and the other two I don't know. Out of nowhere, all three hurricanes just disappear. I mean, the first three hit. Harvey hit, Irma hit, and what was that other one? I can't remember what it
Maria,
was.
Jose, and the hell, damn! I was just actually just looking at that on the on my phone.
Right, they came in threes.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. Pretty sure everyone else does.
Now it's October. Is it? Yes. Now it's October, or is it something? No, it's October. Now it's October, and those hurricanes are nowhere to be found. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, usually storms and all that good stuff going on, but yeah, because Irma, that one lasted what, a good week after it passed through Florida. With the big storms and all that good stuff.
Right. Because like Irma was probably the biggest one, right? It was a Category 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one Nick was in. Nick Herbal, what's up, man? It's been a while. Where you been? Um, yeah, that one's it went through the Caribbean, Florida, and then traveled its way up the East Coast, and then what, a week ago kind of dissipated into a good tropical storm.
Yeah, it faded. It faded. I'm up in Chicago, and we didn't get any of the tropical storm either. We just got like a lot of fog from it. We just got a lot of fog. That was it.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was watching all the stuff that when it was going on in Puerto Rico, and big ups to Dread for that, man. He was he put out a video a couple days ago that was actually on point, with the shootings and all that kind of stuff. No one was talking about what was going on in Puerto Rico, and there's actually some pretty big things going down right now where people aren't getting fed and the government's acting super shady.
Yeah, it was supposedly Red Cross was caught throwing out food that was supposed to go to people in Puerto Rico, and
To the people. Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. There's been a few things. One of the things I saw in the news is that the United States put a sanction basically on the maritime, on the ships that take out the food and stuff.
Right.
I know the Caribbean. I don't know how they were going to do it, but they were willing to do it. Take stuff out there, supplies, generators, you name it, and they put a sanction on, basically saying that the only people that were allowed to bring supplies to Puerto Rico had to be coming from the United States ports. So anybody coming from a different port other than the United States wasn't allowed to. They literally had to go to the United States
Hello.
port. Yeah, so it was pretty
Okay.
crazy. Um, that, and then they just had a report with the mayor or governor or whatever you call the lady that in Puerto Rico. You know, I thought it was real stupid doing that big ass speech talking about how they had nothing. But if you looked right behind her, it was just crates of food.
No, I see. I haven't got that far yet. I haven't got
Hey,
to. I've
you
been
going? You gotta pay attention, man. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but the thing is, see, nowadays I'm not into all of that news stuff. So now what I do, whenever I see anything that deals with the news, I press the X and I press not interested. I don't even watch the news. I prefer to just like if like I of course I need to know what's going on, but I don't want to hear it from their perspective. I don't want to see those headlines. Guy does this, guy does that. I come on these panels because I assume that y'all know what's going on. So if I X out them, I hear it from y'all first,
Yeah,
so I
better
can
source.
get inside. Right.
Yeah,
I
but
get.
a good way you should look at it is, and this is why I still look at, I still pay attention to the news and reporters and stuff, because it's easy to lead yourself down a path that will the outcome of a story will be what you think it is. And when you get both sides, and this is kind of, how I became a flat earther, if you have to look at both sides to find out what the truth is in the middle.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you completely cut the news and everything out, and which is understandable, because I mean, filtering their bullshit takes forever. Like I said, man, I mean, for a 20-minute conversation, it would take me 2 days of watching their stuff to figure out what's real and what's not. So I get where you're coming from. Um, but for me personally, to know what they're saying, and then to start putting those puzzle pieces together myself, then it becomes very obvious what they're lying about and their agenda for it too.
Exactly. I mean, at the same time, right. I see it as that way as well, but I don't know. It's kind of another one of my ways of disconnecting from everything, because I mean, I'm slowly disconnected from it all. I disconnected from Facebook. I disconnected from basically every social media other than Snapchat, and I guess you can. Well, in a way, YouTube can be a social media.
But you got to also remember, it gets dangerous no matter which way you go, mainly because what happens is like, number one, like, it was like people were putting videos up of their lives and all that stuff, and people started acting like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook became these news sources by just random people. You know what I mean? The problem is like I said, once you start, giving people information in the news, it doesn't always stay biased, and that's the problem with a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I think no matter what, you have to be biased, otherwise eventually everything just becomes your view, and then there's no difference between you and the news.
Exactly. Because the news will turn into an opinion,
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so it's not really
I
news.
mean, it'd be cool if, like, if fucking Fox came on and was like, "Hey, this is the view of a company. Some of these things may not be actual, but here we go." It'd be one thing, but yeah, the news, they all tell you the same fucking thing, and it's all. I mean, there's videos on YouTube, you can go and see them, where they'll have 10 different news organizations, and it's like robots. So they're all saying word for word the exact same thing. Sickening. And I think that's the biggest problem we're having. I mean, you really want to think about it. It's like, who is the news? Because the newscasts, those are just, the puppets.
Yeah. Well, it's really who are the news, because I believe all of these news, they all go to a common source. They go to somebody who tell them how to word the news carefully, so that it's taken mentally in a whole different direction. So, say for instance, there was a gunman that did this. Now, the people, obviously, everybody knows that the news reporters were never there at the scene, but they can word it as if they were there, and they can word it to not really say that the guy was a psycho, but they can use like big words, and they can use these terms and say these things to make you, to lead you to think yourself that he was a psycho. It's really a mental game with the news.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't watch when you don't watch the news, it's really, you don't have to play that mental game. You don't have to look at those headlines. You don't have to. It's kind of like Google Hangouts and YouTube has become my news. Because if something is going on, You know, bro Sanchez. You know, Dre gonna cover it. You know, you anybody in the community gonna cover it. So that's really turned into my news. Y'all may not jump on it that quick though.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that even brings me to a point. That's respect for Bro Sanchez and incredible, just insane in respect for Dreads. But even then, none of us are all the same, so we're all going to have different points of views. So what ends up happening is they'll say something that I completely disagree with.
Right, that's true.
So it still becomes the part of you have to look at both sides of everything. Now, personally, none of us were there, so I think anybody that wasn't there should give it a day or two, get that information, and then say an opinion. And I kind of get, people want to hear about it, talk about it, so their feelings get more involved right away.
Exactly.
But when people are running around saying, it's fake, it didn't even happen, it's different because, especially for me, it hit home. I had a friend that was out there, and he was shot out there, and
right.
being, I consider Dreads, that's home. You got everyone there. You guys are all my family, and you guys are all obviously entitled to your own opinions. But when you're giving your opinion, and it's to the point of it didn't happen, and being so convinced it didn't happen that you're going to say it constantly, it really hits home, and it really affects people. It kind of put me in the realization of imagine what if one of the people there, their parents or their brother or sister, happened to be a flat earther and was in one of these chats, and they, their sister, how it would make them feel. And it kind of made me realize, I would think it's better to give it time than to just jump off and say, this is what happened.
Right. Exactly.
But I mean, I'm happy that the info that I'm starting to get in now is days after. I'm happy, my boy, he had 2 surgeries. He's definitely going to have a nice little limp, but all in all, he's good to go. Didn't hit no main arteries or anything like that. He chipped up some bone in his hip. Did a little bouncing around in there, but for the most part, he's good. I talked to him for a few minutes today. I was really reluctant. I didn't want to, jump into it and rehash the whole fucking night for him. So,
right.
He kind of just was on the more of a how you doing tip. I did ask him if he wanted to come on here, when he got back. He definitely does not want to talk about it. So I'm pretty sure in time he'll give me bits and pieces, but by that time we'll probably know more about what's going on anyway. But to me, I'd rather respect his wishes. I know for a fact he'll record something or do like a little video thing with me, but he doesn't want to be live. Is what it is. He doesn't. He's shy. He's one of them types.
Well, I don't blame him, but I can see that would be a situation where your channel would definitely get taken down if they're taking it down over people just talking. If you got somebody on here that went through it, oh my god.
No, he's not gonna. I'd give it a week, and then he'll do something with me on the side just so that I can get his shit out there, so he can kind of get an idea. Like I said, I didn't want to ask him, dude, how many did you hear from somewhere else? And I didn't want to do all that to him. But like I said, it hits home to how I think and how I feel about conspiracies and hoaxes and all that good stuff. That brings up conversation. Now on to the topic of interest, which is what we're talking about, and the information that I let everyone know I'd be talking about. I can say without a doubt, in my opinion, because there's always still things that no one knows or not going to know. This is a false flag. It definitely happened, and I believe it happened on purpose. And I think it's definitely bigger. I won't go into specifics bigger, but I'm not going to say it in this whole sentence, but yeah, it's crazy to think how far people are willing to go to get what they want, basically.
And that's not even the half of it. That's the
It,
sad part.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been what, 2 days, 3 days, and it'd be impossible for me to find everything. But I feel like I found more than enough
To
to
rule it
not
as
be, yeah, to rule it how I rule it, and to say that it's it's going to be it's going to be almost an epidemic of this kind of stuff happening to get what they want. Um, Kind of reluctant on saying names and what I got going on, but uh, it makes more sense if I do. That way, people can fact check it, and then the stuff I'm going to pull up will make a little bit more sense, and they can look, get the information themselves rather than it being just me.
right.
So I think we can kind of just go into it right now. I think basically what everyone needs to remember, what I am going to be giving you guys and showing you guys, it's bits and pieces of what I believe is the real, which it's really really going on. But this kind of shows the chain of fuckery is what I call it. Um, Props to my boy Legendary. I'm not sure if he's still here in the chat or not. He kind of bounced all this info to me the other day and threw it in my lap. And man, did I go into a fucking rabbit hole? So thank you, asshole. It all kind of started with I'm pretty sure everyone knows what 4chan is.
I do not.
It's kind of like a conspiracy theory website. Period. It's like a lot of a lot of actual information actually goes on to it, but it's not something not something you go to for your info, but every once in a while some shit comes across it that you can't ignore. Right. And that's pretty much what happened. So I got a few screenshots. I'll go ahead and read them first, and then when I get done with it, I'll put each subject that I'm doing right now on. It's kind of hard for me to actually be easier if I put it on screen and then do it now. Sorry, folks. As you all know, if you know me, I suck at this. I haven't gotten any better.
To the light.
Wrong button. I need to. I told you. This shit is getting ridiculous. All right. Yeah, see, I'm already fucking up. All right. So I got to find the right one. Like I said, I should have probably done this first. I got to find the right order. Otherwise, it won't make sense. So a guy on a 4chan, anonymously, obviously, throughout this text, basically this was the day, most of it was the day before 9/11 of this year. And the see, I gotta find the fucking right one first, and I don't know where it is. Hey man, that's how I roll. All right, I can give you a basic rundown. Hang on. Okay, that's the last one. That's the second one. Okay, here we go. So this anonymous person, like I said, posted it. He posted it before, the day before 9/11, but I guess these are the ones from 9/11 year. He posted, look, I feel bad for some of you on this website, so I'll let you in on a little secret. If you live in the Las Vegas area, Henderson, stay inside tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. There are large groups of people. Also, if you see 3 black vans parked next to each other, immediately leave the area. You're welcome. That's another thing. His timing and a lot of what he's saying doesn't match up, but it'll make a little bit more sense in a second.
Wait, was this before the Las Vegas thing?
This is September 11th of this year. So yeah, about 3.5 weeks ago.
Wow.
It says the second one is it's called it's called High Incident Project. They want to make the American public think that places with extremely high security aren't safe. They are trying to create more regulations. You will see laws proposed within the next few years to put up more metal detectors and other security devices. Media and politicians will be saying places with lots of police need even more police. I can't guarantee anything will happen tomorrow, but Las Vegas is on their minds.
Wait, this was so all of this was 3 weeks before the shooting even happened.
Yes. In their plan, if their plan is successful, state of Nevada will pass a law in the future making all casinos have mandatory metal detectors and backscarf. That is basically the TSA machines that do the scanning, which wonderful news about that stuff. So if you're going through those, have fun. Soon after, a federal law will pass to put these machines in universities, high schools, and federal buildings. You need it. OSI Systems and, and Chartoff are main producers of these machines. Sometime around 2020, Chartoff and OSI will merge into a single company. After they merge, the owners will sell off all their stock and make billions in profit. Mr. Chartoff has been in contact with Sheldon Addison. Mr. Addison will become a huge sponsor of these machines, and he will be the first to put them in his casinos when the law passes. This is the last message for now. Don't expect me to return anytime soon. Okay, that is the last of those messages. So um, that pretty much is sums up the prediction this man had 3 weeks ago. Like I said, the dates and a lot of the time things he says, or a lot of the times and date stamps that he has, don't match up. Uh, but when you hear the bits and pieces of what's going on, it'll hit home. Um, so we'll start in his first one about Las Vegas. So obviously we did have a situation. Um, he talks about it being a project that they've basically planned out for the purpose of these security in casinos. Now, the big thing that showed me the red flags on this was all right, let me get what I got, my other information. So basically, the line of fuckery starts with this chart off guy. So from 2005 to 2009, he used to work for Homeland Security. Um, in 2009, when he left Homeland Security, he started his own private security military company. Um, he's always basically, I guess he did a lot of consultations for companies and different entities for security purposes. So when it came down to these scanners, he always went to this OSI. OSI is the maker of scans and these backscatters, the same ones that TSI uses in the airports. Now, what happens is, I guess every few years on these scanners, they're supposed to be replaced with new software that's updated. In 2009, there was 1,000 machines taken off use based on the fact that OSI didn't have. I'm pretty sure you guys may have heard about this in the news. OSI wasn't ready and didn't have the upgrade version of the software they needed for these machines. The software that they needed was supposed to regulate the radiation that came out of them. So they took them down. Another company came in. The government was paying them $256 million a year to to basically, to run them and keep the systems updated. Now, the thousands of these machines that they had to put to the side are still sitting somewhere in a warehouse. I don't know where, but they do exist. From there, basically what happens is the owner and CEO of OSI, a guy named Deepak Karpalo, I guess you got to say it. He's a huge. I mean, you hear about people donating, companies donating to the GOPs when they're running for election and all that stuff. From what I was reading, this guy is probably like top 5 of the top 5 ballers that put money into the candidates. This guy is in the top 5. Go back to screen sharing again. So in 2010, he went to Asia with President Obama. He was there for the purposes of helping better the relationship between India and America for the trade. Basically, I think he's made a few trips there to talk about these things with different countries and everything. But this is actually a report that someone had found and posted a while ago. I guess it was a memorandum saying, this is why we use our jets and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, he definitely went to India with President Obama for those purposes. This guy, to remember this guy's name in this situation is very important. He's the owner, CEO of OSI. OSI is the scanner company. Now, along with that, like I said, the Charnoff guy, he promotes these guys OSI a lot, almost as avidly as possible. The next asshole, if you would like to say. Sorry guys, I'm kind of I got like a handful of notes, and if I don't do it right, the map of all this shit going on doesn't make sense. The Deepak guy, the guy who owns this company, OSI, actually just met with Trump the other day, 2 days ago in Vegas when Trump was there. It was a closed door meeting, so no one's going to have real information on what that was about. But knowing who he is, it does matter. So there's also a guy named Jim Marin. Jim Marin is the CEO of the MGM International and part owner in Mandalay Bay, where obviously the shootings happen. Well, Jim is also not only the CEO and part owner of Mandalay Bay, he's part of a commission or a council. I'm sorry. What is it called? It's called the National Infantry Advisory Council. It's the big picture of where the organization they're from. It's his name right here, Jim Marin. Actually, didn't want to do that because I'm gonna freeze. Fuck. Again. Well, I'll just get rid of it, and I won't have to worry about that now, will I? Okay, and on that part of that council, they have a separate group in that council that basically it's called it's a long one. The Critical Infrastructure Security Resolution National Research Development Plan. Basically, these guys, their job is to turn the page. Their job and what they're tasked to do is to basically figure out a way to help legislation pass regulations to what they call security tech into casinos. That was basically the last thing they're sent out to do. It's right here. Make sure I click on the right one.
Put that Chromebook to work.
Oh man, it's gonna shit in a minute. I know it. So this is the council right here. This is what their last meeting was. It was on 11/15, I think it said.
You said what?
Their last meeting that they had was on was last month. September. Yeah, last meeting was September in 2007. Which one it was? Okay, here it is. Like I said, be professional. So bear with me to wait. Basically, this is part of one of the reports they had. Just basically going over the different terror attack scenarios and things you would have to worry about. Where everyone's thinking it's going to be the gun laws and all that stuff. They were actually tasked to figure out how to make us worry and make us want these security actions taken. In a rough draft of basically what I was reading, they were sent to pass legislation, pass regulations to put security tech like rapid scan and affordable for the shareholders. Now, the guy Jim Morin, that I told you is the CEO of MGM, also on this council, is the ones who also have to figure out how to make it affordable and how to make it so the people are willing to do this. The rest of the report says, that I got off of it was make it affordable for shareholders like casino owners and to have the public willing to allow these measures to be passed. In casinos like Mandalay Bay, owned by Jim Moran, they want this to be mandatory. They don't want to have to figure out a way to pass the law. And to me, that's what I consider a smoking gun. Then there's another big guy. Guy's name is Sheldon Addison. Like I said, the other guy who owns OSI is top 5. This guy's like top 1. This guy is probably the biggest. He's funded within the last 10 years $2.3 billion into the GOP candidates. He's a very big part of why Homeland Security is what it is and that it's still around. His main thing is when we have the GOP debates, he basically picks who he's going to back for that candidacy. This last one that they had here in Vegas, he was reported to have had meetings with Donald Trump the day before the debate. Which is weird about this because if you read any other reports, usually what happens is they have like a big meeting where everyone as a group comes and they all I guess let them know what their plan is and how they want to run things and basically pimp themselves out to him. But I found it very funny that he had a meeting with Donald Trump actually the day before, and it was a solo meeting. Along with that, between that, this memorandum of getting these machines into casinos, especially into the casinos, is this is some of the information that really came to light after reading the snapshots that I read in the beginning. Um, Now, all this stuff is kind of just everything that happened before the shootings. Um, this guy, Chad Sweet, um, he's basically been doing media rounds since the shootings. Um, his basic thing, he's basically the only thing he's talking about right now is where we thought it would be gun laws. I'm not sure if anyone's actually been watching news or reading about the news. There's actually been very little talk about any gun laws changing. Um, this guy, he's been on, and his main thing right now is letting everyone know they're not, they don't want to be pushing for gun laws. Um, right now, our main focus is pushing for casino safety and stating, and he states, casinos aren't safe from terrorists, and it's not going to be pushed on them. I have to pull and pushing for rapid gate or rapid scan and hotels is most important at this time. Um, the Win actually just installed the first of these rapid scan systems yesterday. It is the first casino that has actually brought it in and set it up. Um, Now, here's the kicker to it. Um, when I found the report saying in 2009 that these machines were basically put away into warehouses because they didn't have the right software, um, a lot of the terminals that these were in had to be shut down for a week at a time. These machines, like X-ray machines, like the TSA ones that they have now. They do have a certain amount of radiation in them. When I read about them installing them, they made it seem, or I'm sorry, in my opinion, because I didn't say exactly, so I don't want to tell you exactly. It seemed like it would take them 2 to 3 days minimum to put these machines in. Now, if you ask me, it seems kind of odd that 2 days after the shootings, they have these machines in the Win right now. Like I said before, I'm not sure if anybody came in earlier. I'm very reluctant on giving you guys everything. Just so you guys know, this is half of what I have. A friend of mine that does this kind of conspiracy things and does it quite often. He good idea to kind of just piece it out. So, like I said, I'm gonna split this. I don't really mind it not being very long. It's out there. It's actually better if my stream is asshole. It's better if my thank you. It kind of needed that because I was getting nervous. I actually did hear something at my door just now. If I keep my stream short and sweet, I'll be able to kind of get more out without worry of them snatching it. So hopefully by tomorrow morning, if this is still here, I will definitely be finishing off. And like I said, this is only half, people, only half of what I found. And everything I read is in statements. If it wasn't in a statement, I made it very clear that it was my personal opinion, so that I don't want anybody to get mixed up or anything. You can message me in my YouTube if you have any questions or have any if you want any of the information that I have, so you can look it up yourself. No problem with that. I suggest not doing it in my comments of this because I will not answer you in the comments with any answers to where I got it.
That's your superstar.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So as far as I'm concerned, my nerves are still racking right now. So I'm done talking about it. But like I said in the beginning, everything I've researched, everything I feel I've read to you, and you got the information you guys have, you can understand that it was not a hoax, it was not fake, but it was, as far as I'm concerned, 100% false flag news. I don't think any of the news is into it. I think this is one of those situations where it's so big that only the elites know about it. But it is, from what I see and what I read and researched, the path of fuckery seems a little too strange. I hope you agree, Jay.
Hold on, give me a second. Marlena wants to get in on this.
All right. Let me send her that. Are
All
you
right,
doing
I
that, or
just
do
put
you need
Marlena.
me to?
What'd you say?
What? Did you need me to send that,
I just put
or
her.
did you?
Yeah, I put her in there already.
And where? Uh, in the chat?
In this chat, in this
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
in this call.
okay, okay, cool. I was gonna say, man, don't
All
be
right, now
putting
what
that
was
shit
you
out there.
saying? Nah,
I was just asking. I just asking what your opinion was of what I read. Did it make sense? Should I have slowed down? Should I have added more? Did you get the gist of what I brought?
nah. I understand what you were saying, but like the connections as to how deep um it really goes and how basically it. I'm still kind of on the fence about it because these, if they really don't want you to know something, you won't know it. It's just as simple as that because they control everything that goes on. So I still kind of I pick what I can out of what you read, and it's just kind of like I look at it as that as for everything. Like if they don't want you to know something, they won't allow you to know it. So as to how, or but the thing I picked the most out of everything you read, it was the guy who put it out way before it even happened. 3 weeks actually. That's kind of the biggest part.
Yeah, it's like I said, like you just said. What they don't want us to know, we'll never know. That's just the way it is. Um,
Right.
I feel there are still paths that they have to take, otherwise they're not able to. They're not able to get things to happen. So they're not like, for instance, they would be able to just get these machines in casinos. You know what I'm saying? They just because they want to. It's not a good enough reason. Um, so I think I think for them it was. I think first of all, I think they need all this, different stories, different views, this, and this. The confusion of it. I think they really need that for it to work.
Right.
Um, the main thing for me is like I said, when you look at news or you look at things you're reading, reports or researching, you have to look at both sides of everything. Why? Why would they do that? Why would they not do that? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
for me, I know I read a lot, but it's not everything it's not word for word, write everything down, and it's going to be exact. Um, the commission, the councils they have, I think they have to put certain reports out to back why they're even there.
Right.
Um, and honestly, I think what they really count on is lazy Americans. If you
Yeah.
really think
True.
about it, 95% of people aren't doing the stuff flat earthers are doing. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They're just not. They don't have they feel like they don't have the time. They don't think it's important enough. They just, let things go. Let it roll. Who cares? You know, Friends is on. Who cares? And I think that's the main thing they draw off of.
I agree with that. And if they pretty much, if you feel somebody with so much fear and you have a solution to end that fear, they're obviously going to take that solution. So it's pretty much like okay, like you have, say for instance, you live in the basement now, like literally, as in like apocalypse happening, and you just get barricaded in the house. You have to live in the
Oh
basement.
shit! Hey, my
Yeah, it was
bad,
like
man. Hang on. My bad to cut you off. I'm actually now because I suck at this. Looking in the chat. Uh, Dreads is out here. Good looking out.
No,
Fun,
he
man.
was. He just went live. Dread
Oh,
is
really?
live. Yeah.
Well, that's good because then I would like to go over there and get unnerved being here. Like I said, I don't want this to be long. I want it to kind of be under the radar. Um, I'm going to the home base and I'll see you there.
Most definitely. We got a nice debate